What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a quick video on Punnett Squares. So Punnett Squares are basically these squares shaped like this, like squares, like that. And they're basically used to figure out the probability of a child getting a certain trait. Now, as you may know, you have a cell. All of you are made up of like a trillion cells. And each of these cells has a nucleus. In this nucleus, they have chromosomes, which are shaped kind of like that, I think. And in each of these chromosomes, you have DNA. In that kind of shape. In the DNA, you have a bunch of genes. One section of this DNA has a bunch of genes. Like, in between this DNA, you have a bunch of cells. Not cells, you have a bunch of, can you see that? So this is your DNA. This is your cell, that's your nucleus, chromosome, the DNA inside the chromosome. Should probably put on arrows. Okay? So the DNA inside the chromosome, and one section of this DNA is called a gene. And different genes can give you different traits. I'll talk more about like the language of DNA and how like it all works. But all you need to know for now is each DNA corresponds to like a different trait. For example, if you have a sequence of DNA that says like black hair, you'll have black hair. On the other hand, if you have one that says green or blonde hair, you'll have blonde hair. Now, you actually get 2 genes from each of your parents. A gene is like the type of trait, like the color of hair. And an allele is an expression of that trait. Like if the gene is what the color of your hair, then the allele is the different colors your hair can be. For example, for my hair gene, color of hair gene, I got black. So that's why I have black hair. It's the same thing. For my color of skin gene, I got, well, I don't know, tan or something. Whatever, well, this is some kind of light brown. So that's why I have light brown. So like, why do you need a Punnett square to figure out probability? Well, basically, you get one set of genes from your parents. You get one allele from your mom and one allele from your dad. So say it's for height, and and then basically what we do is the different alleles, right, so why do we need Punnett squares? So say we have we have a gene for how tall you will be, right? Then, so we could denote this by a letter T. Hold up. We could denote this by the letter T. Right? So, T basically stands for the dominant allele. There are 2 types of alleles, dominant and recessive. We write the dominant one as capital and recessive as lowercase. Recessive. So what this basically means is we put your parents' alleles up here. Say your dad had 2 capital T's and your mom had 2 lowercase t's. So now what this basically means is we combine each of these T, 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 like capital T, lowercase t, capital T, lowercase t. Then this one has a capital T, lowercase t again. And we always put the capital in front of the lowercase. Then this one has capital and then lowercase again. And what this basically means is if you have a capital, so let's say this is the dominant. So it's the dominant, and let's say the dominant is tall, very tall, and the recessive is short. Right? So if our dominant is tall, then dominant basically means if you put a dominant and a recessive together, the dominant will show. If you put a dominant and a dominant together, well, there's no recessive, there's no chance but for the recessive to show. If you put, the only way a recessive can show is if you put a recessive and a recessive together. So let's look at a different scenario here. Let's say your mom has two short t's, so obviously she has a recessive and a recessive, which means she's short. And your father has a capital T and a lowercase t. Also, it doesn't matter which parent you put where. This could also be your father, this could also be your mother, but I'm just saying it like that. I need a darker pen. Oh yes, okay, there we go. Yes, you can see that. T, 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 T. So now what's going to happen is if we erase all the stuff in here, so now what's going to happen is this one is going to be T, T. This one's lowercase t, this one's capital T, lowercase t, and this one's capital T, lowercase t, right? So now you have a 50% chance, because there are two of them out of 4. 2 by 4 is 1/2, which is 50%. So you have a 50% chance of being heterozygous. And heterozygous basically means you have two different alleles. Homozygous means you have two of the same allele. So homozygous basically means you have two dominants or two recessives. And heterozygous means you have one dominant and one recessive. Homozygous, heterozygous. Those are important. You should probably remember that. So basically, there's a 50% chance that you're homozygous because we have these two options here. Heterozygous. You have those two options there to be heterozygous. So there's a 50% chance for that. And that means you'll be tall because that's the dominant trait. And then there's also a 50% for you to have the recessive trait of being short, right? And you can actually play around with this. There's basically one more, there's basically only one more possibility, which is if your mom's capital T, lowercase t, if both your parents are heterozygous. And that basically makes it so that you just take out one of these heterozygous ones, you put in one of those, that stays like that, this becomes like this, and this stays TT. So now there's a 25% chance that you have both the that you are homozygous and you have both the tall traits. There's a 50% chance that you have the tall trait. Your dominant trait is the tall trait, so you're tall, but you also carry that lowercase trait inside you. So if you ever get a child, then you'll have that capital T, lowercase t, if that ever happens. So, and then there's a 50% chance you have a lowercase t, lowercase t. So yeah, that makes sense. And eventually you can have a bunch of different traits in here. It can get really complicated. But yeah, that's the simple Punnett square, and that is literally how they're used. Very simple. So, yeah, quick video. If I missed anything, just let me know. Tomorrow I'll post a video about ATGC and basically how genes work and how they basically how your body actually interprets the genes and actually gives you the different things that you need. And the day after that, I think I'm gonna do something on evolution or something. Okay, so yeah. Thanks for watching. Really quick video today. Yeah. Hope you have a nice one.